Hey, what's up guys, John here. American cities have become overthrown.
Santa Monica is one of the most dangerous cities in all of California.
Recent shootings in New York City have spotlighted a troubling rise in gun violence and homicide across the country.
If you look at San Francisco and you've seen the massive crime that has picked up, the unrest, the theft.
Violent crime in San Francisco is horrific and the streets are unsafe. In San Francisco, crime, staffing shortages, and police response times are all getting worse.
San Francisco businesses fed up with crime. One sandwich shop owner is calling for action after he says he was attacked outside his store.
You've seen all of these things that you probably would have never imagined. But have you looked into the mayor of San Francisco? Have you looked at who's really pulling the strings? Because when you look into London Breed, the mayor, you're going to start to see some pretty unbelievable ties and connections to the CCP. You might ask yourself, well, how could the mayor of San Francisco be indirectly married to a head of the CCP? Is this real, John? Is this actually happening? Well, I think what's happening in San Francisco is a drop in the bucket for what's happening in many American cities all throughout the country. And in this video, I'm going to break it down for you. I'm going to show you the connections, the ties, and the future of California City, San Francisco, and many other cities here in America. Please hit the like button. When you hit the like button, YouTube will share this content to educate more people about what's really going on. And if you like to fix your credit, position yourself for the greatest rug pull in American history, you're going to need great credit to get financing. At least that's what banks are doing right now. They're tightening up lending and credit conditions dramatically. You're going to want the best credit. You have late payments, medical bills, charge-offs, foreclosures, bankruptcies, repossessions, any negative item under credit report, go to greatcreditfast.com. Click the link in the description just below this video. Schedule a free strategy session. Take a look at this. So you've seen this, this image here. You have all of these Chinese Americans that are, holding Chinese flags. There's one American flag in China, but yet there's all of these Chinese flags. So when you start to look at this, you're seeing something very interesting. You wouldn't have pictured this probably 5-10 years ago. Now, many people don't even hold American flags any longer because it's viewed as radical. People don't want to become political by holding a flag of the United States. But when you look at this, it's interesting. So London Breed, this is a lady right here, it looks like a nice lady, right? London Breed, she's married to Lawrence Liu. Well, who is Lawrence Liu? Well, Lawrence Liu is this gentleman right here. But when you start to look into his father, and you start to look at these connections, it's very interesting. So Lawrence was associated with charity and advertising prior to engaging in business. He is the president of Stanford Hotel Corporation that has 13 inns in significant urban areas in the United States. Liu is general hotel administrator, a registered professional engineer, and a licensed general building contractor. He likewise was a double-crossed individual from the board of San Francisco Convention. Lawrence Liu's dad, Li Chuwu, born August 9th, 1929 in Jiangmen, China. Lawrence's dad is a business tycoon, financial backer, and giver of the individual from Chinese People Political Conservative Conference, People's Republic of China, Hong Kong, betting financier and organizer of the executive Galaxy Entertainment Group. You start to look at this, right? He was made an individual order of the British Empire in 1982. In 1986, he got named as Justice of Peace. Li Chi was granted many honors remembering Business Person of the Year 2007. He's a President Honorary Dean of Business Facility. But you start to look at all these connections between the CCP and now the mayor of San Francisco. And you have to ask yourself, you're seeing all of these, this very pro-China like movement that's unfolding here. You have to ask yourself, why? What's happening? Where are we headed? Well, what I believe is going to happen in San Francisco is I believe we're witnessing the scheduled demolition of that city through rampant crime. They want things to get out of control. Because if you look at the technology, you look at what they're doing in China, and they have facial recognition. They're working with CBDCs. They're doing all of these, futuristic like advancements over there, some would call, right? All of this would perfectly fit in a crime-ridden city like San Francisco. And many business owners may actually like this because they might be able to keep the retail businesses open. You're seeing, Rite Aid, Walgreens, CVS closing up left, right, and center. You're seeing some of the biggest anchor stores in San Francisco closing up due to crime. Well, what if this is all perfectly fitting to where soon we're going to be walking into a Chinese-like America, and San Francisco could be the gateway state for this, right? Let's look at his father. His father's net worth is $12 billion. A $12 billion net worth. His son is a very, very, very wealthy investor in the inn business, hotel chains, a billionaire, married to the mayor of San Francisco. How does this all seamlessly connect, right? Is there anything going on there? It's a big question, right? Anything going on there? I would probably say yes, right? They've been buying since 2014 in San Francisco. Lawrence Liu purchased the Stanford Hotel Group. He was the buyer of this asset through Stanford Hotel Group in 2014. But when you start to look at Galaxy Entertainment, they're doing $51 billion in revenue in 2015. $51 billion in revenue in 2015. And that's just one of their enterprises. They also own the Wong Group, right? And this entity is doing billions of dollars in business. They have construction materials, hospitality, entertainment, leisure. They're in the property business. Think about this. Imagine you were an investor. And you wanted to go out there and you wanted to buy assets. That was your goal. You wanted to buy a lot of assets. How would you buy them? Would you go out in the open market and say, hey, I want to compete with everyone else out there. I want them to see me coming, and I want to set the standard and increase value so I can pay maximum dollars per square foot? Probably not, right? What you would love is probably a situation with massive unrest, distress, a lot of stressed out sellers. You can go out there and scoop up a lot of deals, right? You can scoop up a lot of opportunity. Now imagine a city like San Francisco with a 3-year eviction moratorium where landlords were unable to evict their tenants. Then you have a situation where you have all of these new rules, regulations, and guidelines coming in, putting even more pressure on business owners and entrepreneurs. Like this. Let me give you an example here. So here's some of these new pledges that they have to enact over the next 5 years, which I believe is going to push a lot of distress on the city of San Francisco. Not to mention, commercial real estate is getting absolutely obliterated in San Francisco. Some of these assets are falling 50, 60, 70, 80% in value. There was one asset, it sold for $350 million like 6 years ago, and it just traded for $75 million, right? You're seeing massive write-downs. That's when you want to step in and back the truck up and buy a lot of assets. That's what I think is going to be happening, and I think China is going to be buying a lot of it. So look at this. So they have a renewable energy accelerator. This renewable energy accelerator, there's all these different pathways. So first is use 100% renewable electricity citywide by 2035 and fully decarbonize energy to cook and heat and cool buildings within the city. So you think about how would you go about doing this if you're a landlord? You'd essentially have to restructure the entire building. You'd have to underwrite the entire building to accompany all these new technological innovations, make them all smart homes, right? Pathway 2, achieve universal access to reliable, sustainable, and affordable electricity and clean cooking fuels and technologies in the next 6 years, right? 6 years and change. And then number 3 is deploy clean energy systems for electricity, heating, cooling, cooking to achieve 50% of the assessed feasible potential within the city of 2030 and 100% by 2050. But this is just one of them. When you have, they have an equity pledge, right? They have this equity pledge here. This equity pledge is they want community-led development, inclusive climate action and infrastructure projects that achieve major environmental, health, social, economic benefits, especially in low-income and vulnerable communities. That is San Francisco, right? For the most part, for the 99%, that is San Francisco. And bold climate action benefits to residents equitably. And then you have a net zero carbon on buildings. This is to completely change all these assets, establish a roadmap for the commitment to reach net zero on carbon buildings, develop a suite of supporting initiatives and programs, report annually on progress towards meeting our targets, and evaluate the feasibility of reporting on emissions beyond operational carbon such as refrigerants. We commit to owning, occupying, and developing only assets that are net carbon in 6 years. Evaluate the current energy demand and carbon emissions from our municipal buildings and identify opportunities for reduction. Establish a roadmap for the commitment to reach net zero, right? And this is for municipal buildings on this one. Report annually on progress towards meeting our targets to evaluate the feasibility and emissions beyond operational carbon such as refrigerants. So you start to look at some of these changes, but they even have, they have all these different, networks, clean building, waste resource network, walking, this is zero emission vehicles. So you have all of these different changes that are going to be coming to San Francisco. And many might say, hey, John, this is just going to be San Francisco. This is happening basically everywhere, right? This is going to be coming in one shape or another throughout America, right? And so you have to ask yourself, and some people might say, well, who is this? Is this actually reputable? You have some really big names here. I mean, some really big names that are all behind this. So this whole entire thing that we're seeing here in America, we're witnessing the greatest economic rug pull in American history. And there's a lot of money sitting on the sidelines waiting for this rug pull to start. Many people would say, hey, John, we're already starting to see it. We're already starting to see this. We're already in a silent depression. We haven't seen anything yet. 99% of people still think this is not going to happen. There's no problems incoming. But the smart money realizes that there's a lot of problems incoming. 5.7 trillion sitting in money markets, and a lot of these regulations, a lot of these changes are going to completely strip a lot of this perceived equity and assets nationwide directly from these owners. And when they have to do these upgrades, they have to go through all these changes. It's going to be very interesting. Look at leadership here. You have board of directors. You have Bloomberg right there. So, and you have you're already seeing it. You're already seeing it. This is the new America. This is the new normal. We're witnessing it right here firsthand. London Breed, she knows. She's smiling for a reason. She's about to get really paid. And their families are going to make trillions, probably. It wouldn't surprise me. I guess we will see, right? Because at the end of the day, trillions is all relative. They erode the currency to a massive level over the coming couple decades. And trillions is almost irrelevant. It's hard assets, it's power, it's control. That's what matters. That's what's worth more than trillions. What do you think about this entire situation? Drop below, we'll have a conversation about it. And if you'd like to fix your credit, we'd love to help you at my company, GreatCreditFast.com. That's GreatCreditFast.com. If you have late payments, medical bills, charge-offs, foreclosures, bankruptcies, repossessions, any negative item on your credit report, go to GreatCreditFast.com and click the link in the description just below this video. And a special thank you to Tim, I'm not going to mention the last name, who gave me some of this information to help me kind of see things a little bit more clearly on what's happening in San Francisco. So big thanks to Tim, and catch you guys next video.